always two choices, two paths to take. One is easy, and its only reward is that it's easy.
I love it.
Food for thought. As an 11-year-old, I was addicted to baseball. I listened to baseball games on the radio, I watched them on TV. The books I read were about baseball. I took baseball cards to church in hopes of trading with other baseball card junkies. My fantasies all about baseball. I played baseball whenever and wherever I could. I played organized or sandlot. I played catch with my brother, with my father, with my friends, and if all else failed, I bounced a rubber ball off the porch stairs, imagining all kinds of wonderful things happening to me and my team. It was with this attitude that I entered the 1956 Little League season. I was a shortstop. Not good, not bad, just addicted. Gordon was not addicted, nor was he good. He moved into our neighborhood that year and signed up to play baseball. The kindest way of describing Gordon's baseball skills is to say that he didn't have it. He couldn't catch, he couldn't hit, he couldn't throw, he couldn't run. In fact, Gordon was afraid of the ball. I was relieved when the final selections were made and Gordon was assigned to another team. Everyone had to play at least half of each game, and I couldn't see Gordon improving my team's chances in any way. Too bad for the other team. After 2 weeks of practice, Gordon dropped out. My friends on his team laughed when they told me how their coach directed two of the team's better players to walk Gordon into the woods and have a chat with him. Get lost was the message that was delivered, and get lost was the one that was heard. Gordon got lost. That scenario violated my 11-year-old sense of justice, so I did what any indignant shortstop would do. I tattled. I told my coach the whole story. I shared the episode in full detail, figuring my coach would complain to the league office and have Gordon return to his original team. Justice and my team's chances of winning would both be served. I was wrong. My coach decided that Gordon needed to be on a team that wanted him, one that treated him with respect, one that gave everyone a fair chance to contribute according to their own ability. Gordon became my team member. And I wish I could say Gordon got the big hit in the big game with 2 outs in the final inning, but it didn't happen. I don't think Gordon even hit a foul ball the entire season. Baseball's hit in his direction, right field, went over him, by him, through him, or off him. It wasn't that Gordon didn't get help. The coach gave him extra batting practice and worked with him on his fielding, but all without much improvement. I'm not sure if Gordon learned anything from my coach that year. I know I did. I learned to bunt without tipping off my intention. I learned to tag up on a fly if there were less than 2 outs. I learned to make a smoother pivot around second base on a double play. I learned a lot from my coach that summer. But my most important lessons weren't about baseball. They were about character and integrity. I learned that everyone has worth, whether they can hit 300 or 30. I learned that we all have value, whether we can stop the ball or have to turn and chase it. I learned that doing what is right, fair, and honorable is more important than winning or losing. By Chick Mormon.
Thank you very much, Sam. And our next reader is Annie Clark, also from Degrassi. So I'm going to read 2 poems, and the first one is called Smile. One of my favorites. She smiled at a sorrowful stranger. The smile seemed to make him feel better. He remembered past kindnesses of a friend and wrote him a thank you letter. The friend was so pleased with the thank you that he left a large tip after lunch. The waitress, surprised by the size of the tip, bet the whole thing on a hunch. The next day, she picked up her winnings and gave part to a man on the street. The man on the street was grateful. For 2 days, he'd had nothing to eat. After he'd finished his dinner, he left for his small, dingy room. He didn't know at that moment that he might be facing his doom. On the way, he picked up a shivering puppy and took him home to get warm. The puppy was very grateful to be out of the storm. That night, the house caught on fire. Dun, dun, dun. And the puppy barked the alarm. He barked till he woke the whole household and saved everybody from harm. One of the boys that he rescued grew up to be the president. All this because of a simple smile that hadn't cost a cent. By Barbara Hawk. Page 13. And the second one is called The Oyster. There once was an oyster whose story I tell, who found that some sand had got into his shell. It was only a grain, but it gave him great pain, for oysters have feelings, although they're so plain. Now did he berate the harsh workings of fate, that had brought him to such deplorable state? Did he curse at the government, cry for election, and claim that the sea should have given him protection? No. He said to himself as he lay on a shell, "Since I cannot remove it, I shall try to improve it." Now the years have rolled around, as the years always do, and he came to his ultimate destiny stew. And the small grain of sand that had bothered him so was a beautiful pearl all richy aglow. Now the tale has a moral, for it isn't a grand, what an oyster can do with a morsel of sand. What couldn't we do if we only begin with some of the things that get under our skin? Author unknown.